What's up, Magnetites? Hope everybody's having a great 2022, about to be 2023. And so today's video, I kind of wanted to touch base on the 30th anniversary of SMT. I've seen a couple people like David Cast and a few others, doing discussions about this stuff, and I saw an interesting one about what's it about? The cards, the TCG, the tradable card game coming out, and I do collect a lot of cards, so being a hardcore SMT fan, I probably will pick that up just to hold and hopefully one day make a profit on. But that being said, that's neither here nor there. I really wanted to talk about one thing that I've noticed a lot of people are saying hopefully we're going to get is a port of SMT1. And I've got to disagree with everyone who said that because, and I'm not saying plagiarism or emulation is a good thing, but let's be honest, we have ports of SMT1 that are translated to English, and that includes now the PlayStation version, which is awesome, and you should check out if you have an opportunity to do so. But that being said, I don't think ports are it. Yeah, they might be a quick cash grab for Atlas to do a port, though that didn't work out so well with the iOS port, even though I have it and can never play it again. But that being said, I'm more in the vein of thinking it's time for some HD remakes. Here's the thing, if they are going to do something like a port, they've got to do these pixel HD remasters at a minimum, because if we're not going to change anything about it and just port it over, that just feels like the really easy way to try to get some money from some diehards like myself, who would probably actually go and still buy it. But that's, at least give us like the Mega CD version, or Sega CD version, or whatever. I would be pretty disappointed with that. I need an updated version of the game that either has turn-based, alignment co-op system, something that's going to really amp up the battle system. Because as novel and awesome as SMT1 is, if you've already played it, you know that the battle system does not compare to any of the entries that, from Nocturne on. Because it doesn't have a press. It has nothing that makes the generic turn-based system really that much different, which is really the only thing that these games are lacking. I go back and forth. I guess you really wouldn't need the remaster if you really did intuitively change the battle system to, and still keep it hard as nails, and still, keep it SMT. Don't go dumbing down the gameplay just to make it easier for newcomers, but incorporate something that's gonna make the battles a little more interesting. Rember, you're going to be going through thousands of battles. These are, random encounter style games. So let's bring this game at least into the Strange Journey days. I think the co-op alignment system is really a fun system. It's underutilized. And I wouldn't even mind seeing something like the stacking system from Soul Hackers. If there's anything we got out of Soul Hackers, I know a lot of people don't like that it had nothing to do really with the original game, but if we got anything out of that, I would say it's that we had an opportunity to see a really cool stack system. Now, I don't find the stack system to be amazing or anything, but I find it to be really good. I think it was really nice change of pace idea. It's really like a better version of the co-op alignment system in some ways. Different, but similar. But I would be very down for the stack system, the co-op alignment system, press turn, anything being implemented into the old school games. That would be a really fun way to get a port out of it. But I don't really want a port. it's time for love to be shown to the games that really paved the way for this entire series. Forget a port, forget a 2.5 pixel remake. Atlas needs to, literally get in the game, and let's get a game that maybe hasn't been ported. I would say, and if I'm butchering the name, which I probably usually am, the Kayuyaku Megami Tensei needs to really be looked at. I know that the first game, essentially Megami Tensei 1, is not work. I don't know if that would work, but the second game is one of the only games where the character is shown on the world map. I've been rallying for this ever since SMT 5. They did something so cool with SMT 5 with how open the world is. Why can we not take those assets and transform basically Megami Tensei 2 into a new game? I mean, the story is so cool, and even though things seem very bare bones when you look at these old games, you can flesh all of these stories out. You had a great storyline on like 8-bit hardware, and you can flesh these stories out and really expand the game if you wanted to. You can make it more than just here, get this little bit of dialogue to make you happy. But I mean, really, isn't that? I mean, in a way, that's a lot of what a video game is. But there's so much that could be done right now. We could really implement a whole new system to a game like that has some great themes, some great concepts, and it would be a great way to show love after 30 years. That's really where we need to take this. I mean, it's a novel approach to be like, well, let's get the ports of the games, kind of like they did for Persona. But Persona games are maybe a decade. Persona 3 is 10, more than 10 now, I guess. About 15 years old, 16 years old. Persona 4, about 10 years old, maybe a little bit more. Persona 5 is not even 10 years old. Maybe 7 years old, I want to say. I guess my time frames could be off, but that's a little different than games that are 30 years old that haven't been remade ever. I mean, if they, and here's the thing, they're gonna sell copies. If you give us Megami Tensei 2 and you give us something as wild and provocative as SMT 5 was with its style and everything about it, I mean, the only difference is we're going to be going 2 steps back on the fantasy kind of like Nahobino, basically a god style thing, and we're going to be tampering it back to more like you're the Messiah, but you're still just a dude who doesn't really know magic and stuff, but uses guns and swords. So yeah, you're going to be tampering back a little bit on maybe the mythos that maybe some newcomers are more into, but you get that scientific pull back, and I think that scientific pull was a really, really cool thing. I enjoyed the post-apocalyptic mixed with the demons, because that was such a novel concept. Usually those are 2 separate things. You get fantasy world demon stuff, or you get post-apocalyptic world where like scorpions and other animals have been, affected by the radiation. You don't usually get a blend of the 2 like that. So I really think going with a game like Megami Tensei 2 is a real wild and awesome idea. I think it would really bring in fan bases, and I think you have the assets and the ability to build out those maps now. There's no reason it should be a step back from the 5th entry. If anything, it should be kind of on par based on assets and creation goes. And then the story, which the new writers, obviously, if you've played through SMT5, you can see that they're having difficulty making the stories come together, and there's just something missing that these old games just really had. The question, I guess, will come down to, can they truly take those old games and the stories that were already written, and then, because they're going to need to expand it, obviously, to make it a more up-to-date game, can they expand it in a way that's going to be awesome? Can they take that skeleton key and expand it and make it great. I mean, that's what we'd have to wait. That's really what we have to wait and see. Because if they can do that, there's really no reason not to get this going. I mean, this would be an incredible opportunity for us to play games that, you know, we really want and we've waited for a long time. I mean, that's just my opinion on what I feel should be coming out here. I feel like that's something a lot bigger to say, wow, it's the 30th anniversary, versus something as simplistic as like, hey, look, we gave you a game from the 90s, we did nothing to it, and you can play it now, you know, or 80s. I just feel like that's no longer enough. We got to get to a point of where we're really going to have an opportunity to see a game like this be a continuation of SMT5. We should be going forward, not backwards. That being said, another idea that I have that I would think would be a little better than just getting these ports is, how about we get Devil Survivor 3? I mean, it's been a long time since any of the games actually came out. When we had a couple of like enhanced ports, enhanced remakes, but we haven't had a sequel to that game. And I think if they go back, if they take the gameplay from the second game, but they temper it back a little bit to the story of the first, which is very SMT1, SMT1-esque, if you want to say. I think you really could have something great there. And since we're no longer going to be making these for portable games, I mean, we can up the graphical opportunities to something maybe SMT4 level, or maybe 5. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the tactical approach will come over. But that being said, these are some really cool games that need an opportunity to be fleshed out. And I mean, I'm in the base. I miss the Majin Tensei games, and I know I'm like one of the only people that say that. But if you're not going to give us that, which I don't think they are, I think they had Rond, however you say it. I think that killed the. It's sad that a game, you get one game that's not so great, and it kills everything. But you know, that kind of killed everything. But if you're not going to go with that, Devil Survivor was on a high. Then they never had that third entry that ruined it. Maybe they have a rule now at Atlas that if you have a tactical RPG, you don't go with a third game because it ruins everything. But I really think they need to revisit the idea of that and possibly move forward with it, because it's really something that could be great for a 30th anniversary entry. I don't want to make this video too long, but I do hope that you guys leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, are you just thinking we're going to get a couple ports for this? Do you think we're going to get nothing at all for the 30th anniversary? Just maybe the cards in 2023 and the cool ass design that we got? Or do you think there's more to it? Anyway, you guys let me know in the comments section. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I'm all ears, and I like having these conversations with you. Anyway, until then, I'm out, my magnetites.